thing, especially today, that I really admire about Dan Gable is just how he treats people, okay? And I think, you know, being a good role model on and off the mat is something that I've always aspired to do, and I really appreciate that about Dan Gable.
Thank you. I'm going to kind of look funny today because I got a bad back right now. I got a pinched nerve in my back. I wrestled about a month ago. I wrestled and hurt. But so anyway, it doesn't really hurt me when I'm wrestling. It only hurts me when I stand or sleep. So when I walk, stand, or sleep, so that means I got to wrestle all the time. But that's why you see me have to go sit down a little bit. When I sit down, it goes away. I stand up, it comes back. But I had some good work done today. Where was I at? Studio City. Some guy said he's one of a kind. He did a pretty good job actually, because otherwise I don't think I can even stand up. But hopefully I'll get through this all right. Get the adrenaline going, and that'll take care of the pain. A lot of times you have a lot of pain. You're working out when you start, but after about 10 minutes or so, it kind of goes away. Hopefully those body mechanisms will help. But anyway, I have a young man here. I wanted to make sure that, because of me being injured a little bit, I wanted to make sure that I had somebody that knows me and I know. And Chad Zapito, he wrestled for the University of Iowa. He was a 3-time All-American for me. And he was on some great teams of the Hawkeyes that really dominated. Of course, they all were, I guess. But, I think we're all back. Yeah, we're all back. So everybody that won, he was 9 All-Americans. That's one guy that one thing out there too. So he was on that team that came back. So Chad's been working with me. He's actually has a gym up in El Segundo, and it's called Raw. So Rico Chiapparelli is another athlete of mine, and they specialize in like boxing and wrestling and ultimate fighting, right? All wrestling arts. So it's kind of a throwback when I went in there. It's kind of like the Rocky scenes with the training. So it's nice. He's nice. Anyway, my name is Chad. He's an Iowa boy. He's from Mystic, Iowa. Metropolis of, what's that, how many? 500 or 600. But anyway, Southern Iowa. And he's came out here. Different experience, I guess. But anyway, let's get started. And what I'm going to do is hopefully be able to give you a lot of good information, a lot of good techniques, a lot of good philosophy, a lot of good drills, and all those type of things that are very important for young people to be able to do. First of all, I'm just going to kind of warm up a little bit, and this is how a lot of times we warm up. First, we jog a little bit, stretch a little bit, and we would start wrestling by the person. We would walk out, and we simply just stand here and just stand up a little bit and pummel, right? We just pummel. That's how we would start, right? Just smooth pummel, right? Just smooth pummeling. Now, you may think this is all the pummeling. I know how to pummel, all that type of stuff. But I'm going to tell you, you put your kids out there and see if they really know how to pummel. See if they really know how to pummel. And they talk about it. Because in reality, right now, as I'm pummeling right now, the bottom line is there's a lot of technique in there. First of all, if we were both pummeling correctly, neither one of us would be able to pummel. Because right here and right here, these are glued to your side when you're wrestling. These are stitched to your side. Because where you get in trouble from a defensive point of view is when you start reaching on your feet, even in other positions, underneath, and even on top. Anytime your arms start coming out away from your body, very long, that's how people can attack your legs. That's how people can attack your legs. So you almost have your elbows inside your ribs right here. So really, when you pummel, if both of us had our elbows inside right there, you both, you still be able to get inside. And I'll tell you, when you watch Greco-Roman wrestling, for example, and you see the Europeans, Russians, a lot of the great countries over there that do it, I'll tell you, they never hardly get inside. They hardly ever get inside. And that just talks about inside position, how important inside position is in kayak. But, we're here, we're going to do it, we're helping each other. But I still mostly doing this. See, I'm not bringing my arm up like this. I'm moving it mostly like this. Mostly just real short, right? Real short, digging, right? Real short and digging, right there. It's all from this position right there. And gotta smooth. You just move your wrist. Move your wrist, right? And like I said, when you want to fight, you both in here, right? This is upright hand fighting. And a lot of kids never learn upright hand fighting because you bend over, you get tied up ear to ear a lot of times, right in here. Okay? So when you get ear to ear, you really don't ever end up in a chest-to-chest position. So you have to put them up there in a drill. You have to put them up there in a drill so they can learn. And they got to learn to put their hips in. But right now I'm going to keep my hips out mostly because that's when it mostly hurts me right now. If I come in, that's how I got hurt actually. I'll do that to the gut. And arching. What's that? But anyway, so on pummeling, it's a good warm-up. It's a good inside position drill. So you make them stand up chest to chest to learn how to do this right here. Okay. Now if you want to go, you incorporate that down in here. From here, what you do is you work inside. You're going to try to come up. Now you actually will pummel. A lot of heavyweight pummel because they don't bend their knees. So they end up in here, fighting up in here, stuff like this. But if you're just a lightweight and you're controlling, you come up. You get underneath him like this, and you can come up. As long as you're in control. All right, so we just have a pummeling, right? Just learn how to do it here like this. Use your elbow to your hand, to your fingers, right here. And you're not really, you don't even have to move as much as Chad is right now. You don't have to move. You can be straight. You can be straight, right? You can be straight. All you're doing is banging a little bit. Now, if you want to, as you get a little bit warm up, you start what I call speed pummeling, but we're not going to go full speed yet. We're just going to increase a little bit. Just going to increase. It's going to increase right here. It's going to increase. Just bang, just each time. There. Increase. Right? Okay, then now when I tell them to go faster, they increase a little bit. Right? Just kind of bang them home. And I say, okay, full speed. And I'll tell you, this is work. If you don't think it is, you try it on there, and you get your guys to do it. 100, 200 in a row. Stuff like that. Okay, that's called speed pummeling. The first pummeling was simply inside position, learning how to pummel from here to here. That was speed pummeling. And then there's what's called power pummeling, which I'm probably not going to do real hard right now. I don't want to push real hard. But it's very similar. When you're in here, you start moving your feet. So you start moving your feet now. Before we had our stationary feet. Now we're pushing a little bit. We're squatting a little more. We're pushing. We're pushing right here. Moving our feet. We're moving. We're moving right here. It's like that. It's called power and movement pummeling. All right. You're teaching kids inside position, underhook, whatever that, you want to say to the inside. Hips actually, because you squat, you come in here. You teach them good defense because your arm's in here. And then what you do next, you do the same thing, real slow. Now you teach them to change levels. You tell them to squat to the side, opposite side of the trap you're on there. The side of the trap you're on. So right now, you just learn how to tackle legs. Go right from the pommel to a leg attack. Changing left. Okay, so right now, right there it is. All it is. Now, two things you better understand here as I do my talking. First thing's going to be inside step, right here, right there. Guys that are fast twitch, guys that have good penetration, that's the best, probably, they can do that. They can do that power shot from there, because you don't have to cut the corner. You can get guys. And when I'm talking today, when I talk about leg tackle, I'm going to talk about knees and below. I'm going to talk about knees and below. I don't talk about tackling here, 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 here. I talk about knees and below. And I tell you who's made me a firm believer in knees and below. I've always been knees and below, but not as much as I have in the last couple of years. And the reason why is because of a guy named Cale Sanders. Because you know what? He's discovered wrestling that there's no counters. There's no counters when you tackle knees and below. Even John Smith, when he shoots his low singles, you can counter. Not very often did you ever get a chance to do that, because he was really good. But you could actually counter if you just stopped. The guy shot low and shoot a low ankle, because he's right there, and you catch right there, you can just counter and like hope for a stalemate. Or you can come over, catch here, cook, kick out, and stuff like that. But the thing about knees and below, which I'll talk later, is that you end up, there's no stop. You hit and you finish. And he's on his butt. Now, the only thing I don't like about it is that the opportunity to pin isn't quite there as much. But he doesn't want to pin. He says he doesn't want to pin because he wants to wrestle the full match. He said, I'll train that hard not to wrestle long. So he gets a tech fall most of the time. Well, I just soon get off the mat. So I got a lot of falls. One more team point, and I don't know. I just rather just sit and watch. I did all my practice from wrestling. I figured if I get a chance to pin somebody, I pin them most of the time. But anyway, so all we're doing here, we're going to do just a pummel, and then we'll do an inside step right here. Okay, now I'm going to show you something. You may not even pick it up because there's a philosophy here that you must put into your program to help your kids. When you wrestle, you never want any weight on you as a person. You never want any weight on you as a person. Keep all the weight on him, your weight, and his weight. That makes moves like hot butter. If there's no resistance, there's no opportunity to counter. That's one of the things that makes Sanders so good with knees and ankles. He's 90 on the butt because he's down. Now there is some possibility you could counter him by hip heisting up or coming up to a wizard possibly. But there's no hesitation. There's no hesitation. But, so on this one right now, when I'm pummeling, I'm going to do the inside step. But watch my right hand this time. So I'm going to step with my right leg. Okay? There's going to be weight there if I just drop straight down. So if I just drop straight down, there's weight. So now watch my right hand, right when I get ready to go, it catches his lat. See that right there? And it closes. So he's where I want him to be before I go. And all his weight that way, and my head gets in there, puts all the weight in there. No weight. Ounce of weight. Ounce of weight. So, it's just, every little thing can work. It's not just dropping in and, shooting and driving. One of the biggest things that you want to get your kids not to do is to shoot down and pull them on top of you. Because they sprawl, and you end up hanging on. So, if you do end up in a position where a guy has weight on you, you want to learn how to scramble out of it and have a second move to get away from the weight or come up neutral. I don't like coming up neutral. I like coming up on top. But sometimes it just happens. Okay, we'll go back. We're pummeling with the other side this time. With the inside step. This time my neck comes here, this catches here, and pull there. Inside step. Okay, knee. See that? Not here. Knee. Push my head. Goes right over. Okay, that's the inside step. So, that's the inside step. Okay, now the move I really like. Because you probably have how many talented athletes as compared to how many guys that are just a little, you don't have quite that explosion. You're lucky to have all explosive athletes. But then again, even for these explosive athletes, if you teach them even a little bit better technique, because you're already cutting the corner. Kind of a better technique. Maybe the explosive athletes are coming so fast, you just blow them across. Phil Williams is a guy on my team, and he just blow you right off the mat. But a lot of times kids get caught with all the weight on, and they don't cut the corner. And guys cut the corner, and guys cut the corner, and hang on, and so on and so forth. So really, I'm going to step to the outside leg this time, on the palm grill, as I squat. I'm going to step to the outside leg from here. See, I already cut the corner now. See this? Already cut the corner. Now, instead of being here, and all of a sudden, he puts a little weight on me like that, and I can't get away. I lose it. Here, as I just step to the outside, I'm already on the corner. Now I can running, besides just taking his legs off underneath, I can run with my feet. I don't have to turn my feet. I've already been turned. And again, this really isn't a move. As far as the pummel and, unless you really get a heavyweight that stands up that straight. These are good drills. These are good things to teach your kids. These are good warm-ups. These are good cool-downs. But in reality, they will happen sometimes. Especially when you're all of a sudden, boom, guys, it's like that. I'm not pummeling. We're just out here hand fight a little bit. Boom, I just do a little bit. And there I am. Taking them off. But you notice, I'm stepping. I'm not dropping down to my knees for penetration. That doesn't mean you can't drop your knees. Only time you drop your knees is when he's coming hard. And you do a pop double where you come up and you finish into the pile. You can go to the pop double. But you get ahead of somebody and you come after you. But as you get at the higher wrestling expertise people, they don't usually push in too much. Foreign wrestlers, they stand out here. So they're not going to push in too much. The only time they push in a lot is if they have to come in because they're behind. But, so that means you have to learn how to hand fight real well. And there's a hand fighting drill that we do, and I'm not going to go over real well here, but it's very similar to that pummeling where we're pummeling inside here, we're moving our feet, pushing and moving and stuff like this. But now we're actually looking for other things. Our hands are down, and we're moving. Now you teach that in his head as well, and you're moving in, pushing him down around. We're hand fighting all the time, just to keep him off balance. But anyway, okay. So again, pummel, speed pummeling, a little bit faster, real quick. Power pummeling a little bit from here. Just learn here, both hands inside fighting, trying to here. You know what, as I lean? As I lean on somebody, you also have to tell your athletes that if you're leaning on them, you better make sure your center of gravity and your feet are ready to move. If he snaps you, or he moves out of the way. Because you don't know why you end up on your head. And that's where I want my athlete, the guy that I'm wrestling, to end up on his head. Because like right now, if he leans on me, he leans on me at all. I want to snap him down to the mat. It's a touch. It's a touch. Anytime you ever feel any pressure, you should snap that guy to the mat. Or hit some kind of move to the side. Not straight in, but move to the side. But anyway, so then we went to a simple drop down here, inside step. Then we went to a simple here, outside step where I cut the corner, pulling all the weight going that way, and then it's center. And usually when you're finishing a takedown, you run with him until he falls. Now let me tell you something about falling. As he falls, you don't want to stay on your feet and end up like way up in here. Like you think you're going to pin him, because he'll roll you right through almost every time. As you fall, you squat and cover his hips. You squat and cover his hips. So from here, I'm coming here, I'm coming down to here. Shoulder in. Because now I go for all my pins. Turks, calves, leg turks, arm turks, half Nelsons, over and unders. But if I just come up here like this, chances are it's going to be, momentum's going to hurt me. One thing I don't like in wrestling is a lot of risk. Even though they say you want the wrestlers to do a lot of risk, I don't teach risk. Try to teach something that's going to end up in good position. I'm going to try to teach something that you end up where it's not something that puts you in danger. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do risky moves, but let me tell you about risky moves. Risky moves are for those that really know how to do them very well. And risky moves are ones that are there because they're there, and they're not risky. They're actually good moves. So I don't go out to set up a lateral drop. I don't go out to set up a headlock. I don't go out to set up a flying mare, whatever that is. And I don't go out to set up, what did you tell me that move was today?
Algerian chin whip.
Algerian chin whip. I don't go out to set that up.
If anybody knows who Madman Murray is, he talks about that all the time, and I haven't figured it out yet.
It's probably that one that Mena does, the ventriloquist, where you arrange your neck like a pheasant. No, but anyway. I had to do that. So anyway, I try to eliminate risk, but it's like if Rico was here, his partner, Rico had a lot of moves when he first came in. He had headlocks, and he had cross-face cradle, which is pretty good. But he also had a roll where Rico roll, you give it a leg, and another roll, and I give it a leg here, and roll guy was that. He won his first 11 matches in college, and he paid about 10 of 11. Headlocks, and cradles, and that. Then all of a sudden, somebody came out and wrestled him pretty basic, and he lost. And then he lost again. And I always say to people, you got individual traits, you use them, but when they quit working and they're against the basics, then let's don't use them unless they're absolutely there. Only use them when they're set up off a flurry. Don't force those type of moves. So you go back and teach your basic skills. You teach that penetration, you teach your inside position, you teach your pump, you teach your penetration, your leg attacks, you teach your knees and below. And those type of things, you can score a lot. So I'm here, knees and below, hand pulls down, no weight on me from here. This time outside from here, knees and below. You can actually come in here and turk the guy right out there. I love turks, whether it's leg turks or arm turks, because they're there almost all the time off your leg tackles, and they're there all the time off your right, ankle right, or whatever. Hands in there, and we'll see all this stuff. Okay, so next thing we do is we covered our Cumberland, we covered our changing levels, we covered our stepping to the inside, stepping to the outside, to the inside. There's outside here, we covered taking the guy down, staying on the knees, taking and he's falling from here, covering it in the hip, shoulder in, pick up. And one thing I want to tell you about leg tackles, always pick up legs even when you hit the mat. Don't shoot in and hang on to legs, even if you're behind. For example, if I get a switch thing from here, if I come here, I'm going here, I'm coming in around, don't hang on like this. Always remember to tell your athletes, you're coming around, pick the legs up, pick them up. If you're in the move we already did from here, when you're driving them from here, pick them up. Pick them up. As you're going down, pick them up. You won't get in trouble if you always remember, kick legs up. Ankles, knees, wherever you're at, pick them up. Okay, now, next thing I want to teach is just a real simple thing that I already started on teaching. He's on his knees. It's a good teaching drill because here's another philosophy. I want you to know there's two different ways to wrestle. I always wrestle with hands on, personally. I like physical, hard wrestling. If you have a special style and you get your kids to fall into it, and it's harder than just normal wrestling, I'll tell you, it's going to work because wrestling's hard by itself. So then you add something else that's harder, make it hard. Now, you really develop people if they're on your side. I'm not saying you can do that all the time. You have to have a group that's willing to want to have a special style. And when you have that special style, I call it a physical style, it really moves a lot of people. And that's a hands-on to keep the guys off balance. Another trait here is that, let me tell you, if a guy puts a hand on, guy grabs a wrist, my number one
important thing to do right now is clear the grip. Don't ever let a man have any kind of a hold or grip on him at any time without breaking the grip first before you apply your holds. Chances are he won't be able to do anything unless he has some kind of a grip or control. So focus on, he puts his hand on my head, he takes my hand up before you do anything. He grabs my wrist, clear the wrist. As you clear it, take control of him. Hand fighting is a series of attacks. You hardly ever be able to hold on to somebody very long. Except in practice, you can, with the good girls, you can say, okay, let's wrestle in here. So we'll learn how to control both guys going tough. You know, both guys going tough here in the baseball, type thing. That's good. In a match, even if I'm grabbing his hand, I don't hang on to it very long. Because the longer I hang on to it, the more opportunity he has to do something back to me. So that's why this series of hand fighting from here, he's never just hanging on. Even if I get good control here, I'm going to move it, so I can clear him. And the reason why I did that is because he grabbed hold of my elbow. I want to clear that. There's going to be an opening off my movement. And there'll be probably an opening off his tire, but I hope to be ahead of it. So right now, I've already said a couple important principles. I don't want any weight on me, and I don't want any grips on me at all. No weight, no grips. All right. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the snap drill. He's on his knees. This is a good drill for high school kids, junior high kids, because you can feel pressure. You got, I tell you, a good partner really helps. You got to teach your kids to learn how to flow, because otherwise they're out there and they don't get anything accomplished. You know, a good hard workout is just a good hard drilling match. If both guys know how to drill, I tell you, it's got to be smooth. It's got to be flow. You got to teach them. Most of the time what happens when a guy grabs your wrist from up here, for example, you know, it's like, stuff like that. You got to learn how to just kind of smooth, move smooth. One guy's drilling, the other guy's a dummy. He's got to be able to move him back and forth. All right, so he's on his knees. You're on his knees. Put your both hands here. Lean on him. Lean on him. Okay, if I let go, he should. If I let go, you should fall on your face and you put your hands down. If I let go, and he doesn't fall this time, then you should tell your athlete that it's not leaning enough. Because I really have to feel when it's going to help him. All I'm going to do right now is, from here, I'm actually going to push him a little bit. So he pushes back there. Because that's action and reaction. And all I'm going to do from there is raise my wrist, not my arm. Elbows in, remember? I'm going to come across. I'm going to hang on right there. But I'm going to snap him to the mat like that. Notice I move my feet back, I move my head down, and I bend my knees. Now, I'm not going to be able to bend my knees as much as most people right now. Okay? But you got to realize you should be able to come all the way down. You should be able to come all the way down. So all he's doing is a good snap drill. Real good drill. Just right, comes right back up. It helps. Comes right back up. And notice with my hands, I'm not doing this. That's a lot of people do. Because then you'll leg tap it. And you won't even hardly bounce them off the mat because you didn't take them all the way through with your hands. See? Your hands go really all the way down. And then that covers your legs and your head. Head position is so important. It's kind of like this. Let me show you another thing. If a guy is changing levels all the time, he changes levels, I bring my hands down. That's not good enough. Watch when a guy changes levels. Change levels. Okay? My head goes where his head is. Because that's my first line of defense. Actually, my hands are going to help me a lot. But if my head's up and he goes through my hands on defense, he'll still penetrate. On a good man, he'll still penetrate. So you've got to have a battering ram there. Not that you're going in there, but he could hit you. That's why you make sure the kids are warmed up before you go hard. If you teach them correct position, because they'll bang their head. And I know that even out here, I think he didn't beat him, but I'll tell you, he pushed him and he was able to stop him a lot. And that guy's really, really strong. That's Abbas from Fresno. He shoots that low ankle single and stuff like that. And so Eric Aiken, he just a lot of times he keeps him from getting in on him because every time he goes to shoot that low, go shoot for a low single from there, he gets his head down there and stops him. So if you got a guy who changes levels a lot on, you got to make sure this guy I don't like to wait for him either. You don't want to wait for a speeding bullet. So I'm going to attack him, but in the process, if he does beat me to a squat, I got to get down there. And chances are, we come back up from here. I'm going to come right in and get a wrist or, start working. But, so we'll go back to our regular thing here. Just real simple. You get guys to do 8 of these in a row. Comes right back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now that's just a start. And look what I'm doing. I'm on the elbow, pushing it, I'm coming right through. Keep pushing, I'm going with this ball, palm to the mat. Now, there's that same drill can be done from the feet. It's real simple. You lean on me again, lean. I know he's not going to lean as much on me. Now lean, come on. You got to fall on your head. You wasn't even good enough, but I'll let you. You put his feet up under his butt. So I'll do the same thing here. It's just over the forearms. It's cup right there. It's cup. And you cup and you stay in contest all the way down. Right there. Now, that's not necessarily the best tie. It's just one elbow tie using your wrist. All right? A better tie, if you're down on the knees, for example, instead of doing this from here, this is inside collar like this. Okay? Now, inside collar, look. See that? Thumb and hand together. Thumb and hand together. Hardly ever grab like this, except on an elbow. On an elbow. When I'm up, firearms carry, tight crotches, outside the firearms carry, near arm far legs, sweep singles. The wrist is controlling right thing behind here, the wrist, and the elbows in front. And right here like this. Right here like this. Right here like this. Right now I feel like there's too much pressure. Actually, I don't like the way his elbow is, so I'll clear it. I don't even want to get that in there. I want him to at least be up and somewhere in there, barely hanging on. If I'm there, I'm okay. But if he drops down and gets an elbow line there, I don't like it, so I'll clear it. So an inside tie and collar, he's down on his knee. Now you do the same thing here. He's leaning. You snap his wrist. Now you got to hold. And all you do is raise your wrist up. Not your arms, your wrist. Arms don't come up. Wrist. And actually you smack him hard. That scares him. It hurts. And it's loud. It makes him, just anything. Right to the mat right there. We're going to do both sides. Okay? So do the same thing from up here. He's leaning on me, forearm, inside, right there. He's leaning on me, lean. Right there. Right there, all the way to the mat. Right there. Now what you do is you go back and you think about another principle. I said it once, but I'm going to say it again because I didn't really emphasize it. Put your man or woman, I think they're wrestling quite a bit. In fact, I'm thinking about coming back and be a coach again. No. Made me think. But now what you do is you put your person where you want him before you go. I said that one other time earlier. That's why I told you about it. Almost where the thing is. Pull. Okay? I didn't have to do much penetrating, even though I am penetrating. So now he's down on his, and it's a little bit tougher with this one when you're this one right here. This one's pretty hard turning. This is pretty good just to go straight down. But now what you do is if you're in the, you can do it that way, but I'm going to do the inside collar here. As he's leaning on me from here, all I'm going to do from here is I'm going to snap him, but as I snap him from here, I'm going to turn him. I'm going to turn him. He's right where I want him. I don't have to do anything but drop down to his hip. So on snap downs, when there's pressure, you just come up, you just turn like this as they come in. And it's real simple because you got the direction going that way, and you got the hand here. See? So instead of going straight down, it's easier to just down and across, like there. And it actually works when he's right there if you can go here. It's a little bit harder. It's a little bit harder. It's a little bit harder. Especially harder to come up on the feet here. From this one. You take the guy down from here, just turning. It's a little bit harder. It's really easy to come up here when you're right here. He's pushing. He's pushing. Just like that. You're around behind him. Now, some people may think go behinds are defensive scoring, okay? 2 types of go behinds, 2 types of snaps to score. If I come out here, and he shoots on me, and I stop him, or he shoots, from here, I'm behind, that's a defensive scoring opportunity for me. He shot, I turned it around, which is fine, but you know what? If I didn't stop him, he might have got to my legs. He initiated. I love initiation. Because that eliminates the risk, because you have to go off his counter. You never know when a guy's pretty dang good. I don't like to give anybody anything. That's kind of like that hand fight. Remember that? When I told you? When he has something on me, I don't like to give anybody anything. That doesn't mean Randy Lewis, who I coach, you come out here and give a leg. Rico did sometimes. But you know what? Sometimes they got taken down too. And sometimes they got beat with it. You give a great guy anything. Okay. You let somebody put the legs in on you don't know what they're about, they'll break in too. You don't know. You don't know. People learn the hard way. People can learn the hard way. In fact, tomorrow I think I'm doing something for Dave Schultz when he was here locally. I remember one of the first times Dave Schultz went overseas, and he didn't really understand how strong some people could be. So one guy put the legs in on him, and it was over. I mean, the guy's tough. You give somebody, you just don't, no reason to give anybody anything. You run really be successful. Now, there is a small percentage of the time that you give somebody something, because only thing you got is desperate. Okay, so, this is here from here, and all we're doing is raise him only here. We're pushing him a little bit, you feel him push back, just like that. And you're following all the way to the back. Follow. He may not end up that good, that's pretty. You may only end up maybe halfway on something right there. You gotta keep the weight on. One of the things that you gotta remember, and oh, by the way, that's not defensive scoring. When I showed him shooting on me, that's defensive scoring. I turned around into offense because I won the move. But I don't mind a go behind or a snap down when I initiate it. See? When I initiate it. That's offense. And nobody can tell me it's defense. And I've had coaches say he only scored upon because he went on a go behind. Brands did 12 go behinds on somebody. Go back and watch the film. The guy never shot once. Brands snapped him to the mat. And then he went on his go behind. There's a difference. And that's what you're looking for. That doesn't mean you don't want to do the other one either. The other one is because you've got a great defense. You're not looking for it. And then you may have somebody that's limited in their motion. You get a little guy that's limited in his motion, doesn't have good penetration, but he has got good hips and he can swivel and he can get around. Well, you teach him defense with the head, but you teach him to turn that head. You got to shoot him. You want to shoot. As he's shooting, as he stopped him in here, you teach him not to back away. You teach him the mechanics that can come around. That means keeping the weight on the guy, Because if you let go, it's too late. So when he makes a move, whether I put him there or he clean, you have to keep the weight on him. Hands on top of his head, hand on the back of his arm. Now I got to jump. He's on his knees, I'm on my feet. His head's down, my head's up. My hands on, his weight's on him, my weight's on him. I'm coming around. You notice when I came around, did I stick my arms in there? No. You don't come around, stick your arms in there. The guy can roll you, grab you, roll you, you can side roll, he can switch you. You come around, as you're coming around on a go behind, you keep the weight on the side mostly that you're going around. Biggest fall on a go behind is to see that hand that's posted. Kids try to reach right there. And when you stop the weight off that arm, when you reach there, they catch here. You keep the weight on that arm, wherever you're at, right here, until you're all the way around, and then you take them out, and you put your hands here, but you put your hips in, and bump into your hips, not be mobile. So that's why you do this drill here. It's called circle. Stay right. You stay right there. That's why you learn to do this right here. you're gonna do is keep, shift your weight a little bit. Put both hands on one arm, right, the back of the arm. Here, and here. Now you're gonna come around, you just keep coming around, all the way. Go back the other way if you want. You learn how to go behind, because if you come here, take the weight off and try to come around, he catches it right there. In fact, sometimes I see guys make mistakes because they want to get around behind so fast. As they come here, the guy catches right here on his leg, and he ends up right here. So he's off balance. That happens quite a bit when a guy thinks he can run around behind the guy without keeping the weight on the guy. Keeping the weight on the guy right there. Like that. Another thing, always pulling back forward a little bit. But see, even though I have the weight on him, he's going back a little bit, it's hard for me to get around. And I'm going to pull him back forward. Come around one side or the other. And as I get him, bump in. You know why I bump in? Because I'll tell you why I bump in. It's a good stance for bottom position and weight over your hips. And when I came around, his weight's there, I'm getting forward. So then even if he didn't go down, I can come down the leg, tag the legs, come in with arm turns, leg turns. I come in with halves. I've got him broken down. I can reach for near wrist. I can go for arm bars or whatever. But I don't come up when I'm coming around here. I just come like this. See that? Because right now, we can grab on a short set or whatever he wants to do from there. So instead of coming around here, I might pull him back a little bit, come inside, throw the hip. Okay. So, back drills are for the male. You do them from all different ties. You do them from all different ties. I already started here to here. And the reason why I do that, I'm going to show it really easy. There's so many kids that people on their head. I don't know why. John Smith even like, but you know what? He has a technical high cross. You know, that's it. But I just don't want anybody to touch me. You know, never put any breath. I just don't want anything on it. If I feel any kind of tug, I break it. So, bottom line is, a lot of people let people get on the head. The guy gets on the head, a lot of times they come right here. They come right here, they can learn, for example, it's hard, they can learn to come to the inside and come up here, and you can learn to snap. Both guys get ear to ear sometimes when you're in here like this, okay? From here, push a little bit, and just push, you can really snap them down the mat and get your go behind or whatever you want to do. But really, I don't want to be ear to ear that much. I really don't want to be ear to ear. Okay, so we did an overhook. When we just get here, snapping, as he's leaning from here, he snaps his mat right there. You can get a little turn on, you get a little bit of an angle, so you can get your go behind from there. That's fine. You got your inside ties, got your collar, push him a little bit, snap him a little bit right there, come around covering. I mean, here's a great takedown. I mean, this is great here. That's what I love about guys that know how to do this. Because maybe they want to run the score up on somebody. And all you got to do is, when the guy comes in here and you snap him right down, you're right here 2 points. He comes right back in, you grab, comes right back in, you snap again. 2 more points. Went all day long. Because you kind of break the guy mentally because he's behind, he's got to come back in, he pushes, boom, you're around. And I saw, he committed, with my guy, I saw a guy get, in the last 12 seconds, 3 of those on a match. Go from a regular decision to a superior. In 12 seconds, he got 3 of those takedowns. At high-level wrestling. High level. You know how high level it was? The guy that got beat the other guy in the finals of the Olympic trials, making the Olympic team and won the gold medal in '96. Branson Cross. Branson Cross. You know, because the guy got a little frustrated, kept coming after him behind. 6 points. You know, and then the same thing happened in the other way around though in the final Olympic trials. Brandon got a little behind and made a bad shot. Got down in front of him. Cross the strongest area was when the guy was on his knees. He was able to come around. He was flexible. He was able to come around and work the other way too. Because I can remember Terry Branch. I was sitting right in the corner. He walked over and he's like, I got him now. He comes from behind, and he was hyper. You need to settle him down. Didn't have a chance to settle him down. You should settle your guy down anytime you can. You know, as a lesson, I should have went on and whacked him really hard. and because of that, it did help another guy. And a guy named Mark Ironside. Same thing happened. In 97, Mark Ironside in the quarterfinals of the semifinals, one of the two. They had like 5-0, all of a sudden the match score is like 8-6 because the guy scored on him and he panicked, came in. I never seen her panic. I didn't know how to handle him. He came over. The other guy shouldn't have stopped momentum, but he did because the other guy couldn't believe I'm back in this match. And he took injury time to think about it, which gave me a chance to get him off the mat, and I cracked him as hard as I could. And it worked. It worked real well. Now, you gotta remember when you crack somebody, you gotta go ask their parents before you do it. So you go and you ask them. But don't wait till that time. See, you asked me about Ironside, I never asked him. Because I never had to do that to him before. So I took matters in my own hands. And then after the match, I went up to the Ironside. And I said, you know, I don't know if you liked or cared for me slapping Mark like that, but I've never done it before. And he said, I wish you would hit him harder. But you know, he won too. What was he upset if he had not won that? So usually you go to your mom, their mom and dad, you go to the kid, you go to their girlfriend, you go to everybody, you get the okay, written okay, and then you go do it. And I'll tell you, usually it works pretty good if you got all those okay. Because the athlete wants to be well. Okay, so we got the snapshot. All right, so there, you learn how to snap them all the way, keep the weight on, come around, or you have other kinds. Say for example, guys start putting me in, coming in 2-on-1 for example, I come right in here, he pushes into me, right forward again, and you want to get your snap down. Here, as you come to the other way, you want to get your goal behind you. You want to get your goal. That's 2-on-1 from here. You know, you got, even if a guy, sometimes I come in here like this, and he squats on me, a good squat. From here, I get squat, I snap him right down from there, underhook, you know, get front headlock, from here, front headlock. You learn how to snap the guy down, you know, from there, when there's pressure. So it's important to learn those hands-on, taking guys down to the mat. Okay, and there's a ton of them. There's a ton. Now, I just saw something that I want to incorporate. Because again, it's kind of a reshot defensive scoring situation. But again, if I go out and initiate it from here, if I'm coming here, I'm wrestling, all of a sudden he pushes back, and I snap him down here like this, and I try to go behind. See that? Sometimes I'll miss him. I already missed something there. Right when he went down. Instead of going for a goal behind him, I had him set up for the leg tap. Here. Yeah. Hardly anybody tackles him. But you know, the important part of it is you have to use your outside skill. You don't want to come here. A lot of kids try that. They get here, try to shoot, they get blocked, the guy gets them from back. So when you snap the guy down from here, you can step right that foot. And you got your hand on his head, so that holds him away from you. There's no weight again, remember? And now from here, your head comes down, catches here, and he starts coming up a little bit from here, and you run him right over him. Me and me. Anytime, remember, anytime you initiate or he initiates and you're going for a goal behind, remember this. Take your points in a goal behind. Take your points for a goal behind. But if you don't get it, or if there's a leg sticking out right there, you can go for that. Usually goal behind, you don't end up in a back point situation, but leg tackles do end up in back points. You learn how to keep the shoulder. You learn how to keep the shoulder. The other thing to remember is this. The outside step from here, and again, you don't pick it up. You don't drop down. Hand here, the hand drops down, and as he's starting to scramble out of there, from here you just run over and flat. Now, there's nothing. Stays down on his knees. And I'm going around behind him. Okay, I'm going around behind him. There or here. Okay, now they're going around behind him, he's going to move a little bit, see? He's going to move. But that's what he does. He usually doesn't stay down. If he stays down on his knees, when I'm going around behind him, I can usually get around behind him very easy. So what's he usually do? He usually kind of, as I'm trying to come around behind him, he can't come up here because he's right there. Okay? I still want to get my goal behind him. And I see so many guys that go and come here, and the guy keeps turning, no, and you lose it. Keep turning and lose it. So always remember, Before you lose a go behind. Before you lose a go behind. There's a leg tackle you have. That's the last resort. And it should be good. If you stop and hesitate on your go behind, then it won't be. When you score go behinds, try to score. If you're about to lose it, there's a leg there that you can get for leg tackle. So, you always have that. Don't think that your kids should rely on that. They should get these 2 points go behind. Unless the leg stuck out like a sore thumb. Just like when you're drilling, you see it. When there's action from here, really, like imagine down here, usually that leg's going to be moving already, see? That leg's going to be moving, so I'm trying to come around. But right now he's moving so fast, he's trying to come up, I'm almost losing him. Try to come up a little bit. There it is, there. I still got it. You know, if you get down and squat, and you run in this squat position where you need to, you're so powerful, it's unbelievable. But you know what? Kids always walk like I walk right now, but I shouldn't walk because I hurt. Everybody should have a pinched nerve. Not me, though. I'd rather get rid of it, just learn how to wrestle. So, but basically, your power is when you're squatting, is when you're in an attack position. You're not in an attack position here. You're not, because you've already spent all the power in your thighs and your butt. You're only in an attack position when you're down in here, which we'll get to later. But I'll tell you, so many kids pick up legs and hold them, and they straighten their legs out, and then they try to move. When you pick up a leg, you stay in that squat position. Or if you're picking it up, you come out of the finish all in one. But don't ever pick it up to hold it and come out of the squat position. Remember, if you have the philosophy, knees and below, you got to be down by those knees. You got to be down by those ankles. And if you're down by those knees and ankles, you will be in a position to score and be in a good position unless you bend over like this. Bend your knees. So, for example, if I come in here, he's run away from me, I can even end up in a high single leg. Okay, if I end up in a high single leg right here. Okay? What happens a lot of times, I'll put it maybe outside or something, right here, and I'll come up and hold it right here. I don't know how to get it out. I just don't know. Because I want to be down in here. Here's where I want to be. Because I got a lot of things that's close. There's there. I got a lot of head drive. You know, I can come down and pull the leg out from here. I can dive for this ankle here. You know, I can actually pick this up from here and come across. It's like Sanderson does. Right away. If I'm down there. Even if I stop and I hesitate, if I stay down in here, I keep moving it. My head off balance. I got to keep off balance. As soon as I stop and hold, now he has a chance. He gains his balance. I got to stay down here and keep moving, but looking for a finish. Looking for a finish. Those types of things. So don't get this messed up here because that's not ideal. Ideal is right there. Okay? Ideal is from here, almost ideal. A little bit of hesitation. Is coming in, finishing the move. Coming in, finishing the move. Okay. Now, one more little drill here. This is a real simple drill. I'm going to go back one of those leg tackles. Okay. But let me show you some simple wrestling. Okay, right here. Okay, there he is. Okay. I'm going to come up here and put his leg up. No, keep your weight on. Just don't stay normal. Damn, a little heavy. A lot of weight on it. Okay? Now watch. Okay? Kids they may not understand what you're talking about. It's just a good little simple thing that teaches something. I want that leg. Just weight off of one finger. Don't use your middle finger. That's what you teach. You teach stuff like this. You teach kind of biomechanics or whatever. That's what wrestling. No weight on it. All right? No weight. So it's real simple. but it's just a way to teach. There, I'm picking it up. And then, when I pick it up, again, I don't want to come in here and let him put weight on me, like that. When I'm hitting here, driving, head drives, keep the weight on me, keep the weight. But it's got to be in a squat position. It's got to be where your power is. As soon as your ass comes up, you're weak. You ready to defend it? Use your butt. Didn't know. Okay? So from here, basically that's how you come up with single leg. You got the same principle. Here, it comes right there. Here like that. Now when I'm coming in, my head comes in there, it's cocked. That's nothing I've got to tell you. I'm here. Double short arm. I don't want your neck here. I don't want your neck. Okay? So that's how I'm wrestling. That's kind of how I'm wrestling. So when he grabs my head, you know what the neck has? Does it have a joint? It does, doesn't it? So he can bend my head down. If I make it a part of my body, my whole body's he's that much stronger. And if my arms are a part of my body, he can't grab them. He can't get them, and I'm not making a mistake. So I'm down in here. And so then when I get in here, my head's not only going to bend, my body's driving him. My body's driving him. Instead of just my neck bending, there's a lot of power there. How much power I got with my neck? Oh, 20 pounds. How much power I got with my hips onto my neck? Oh, 200 pounds. That kind of thing of explosion. So it's a big difference. It's called hitting and driving. Hitting and driving. Hitting and driving and finishing. Or hitting and lifting. Hitting and lifting. Those type of things. Okay, so soak that in for about a minute. Take a little break, soak it in, get a little drink of water, and then we'll I'm going to clean it up just a little bit. Basically, again, hand position. You come always, just remember outside arm around is on top. Just remember that. Outside arm around is on top. Single leg or high top. Grab. Because the reason why is that you don't want the guy to reach down and be able to pull the arm like up through a thumb and a finger. You want it over the arm. Outside arm around on top. So when you're in a single leg, and again, I don't care if the guy does it the other way as long as it works. You know, because he's already learned it the other way. But when he gets right down to it, if he stops, you stop there, the guy puts a lot of weight on there, it's a lot easier to pull that through here than it is to pull it through here. Remember that. So it's basically from here, squatting here, pushing. And again, I don't have any weight on it. Remember I said the guy's going to put weight on his leg? Because that's the way you defense. You defense by putting your foot to the mat. You know, if a guy has a leg on you from here, you have to lay up, you got to get his head aside, or you got to push his head down. You got to get that toe to the mat. Push it down. But now that's extending. I don't ever want to be there if I'm the guy in the attacker. Here, so that's why when I hit, they don't pull it up to me. It's coming to me because I'm penetrating and driving. And now I'm squatting, and all I'm going to do is take my toe and just block right here. That's looking towards his hand. If you remember to take a man towards his hand, you always remember basically that he's going to go down and you're not going to hold. Because make him have to hold his hand. So I'm in here like this, I'm driving like this. He's got to hold his hand. Or if he doesn't hold his hand, he's going to land on what? His head. And just like a snap. He's going to try to hold the hand. And again, he'll pull his hands off, hands on, come around, you see that leg there, pick that leg up, run him over, or you can come around behind as well. But right there, I definitely go down to the leg. It gives me a lot more power. If otherwise I end up behind him, be up, now I got to take it back to half from the points. And so on. So basically, in on a single leg, head drive from here, hand coming around, don't pull it up, drive it, trip here, hit towards his hand right there. Follow through and hit. That's a good head drive. Now, I wouldn't say that's the best finish. It's a very good finish. It's a very good finish. But I like to use the grip if you want to get into it. It's real simple. Baseball bat. Remember, this is a baseball bat right here. Okay? You always call it a paragon. It's a baseball bat. That's pretty tough. The baseball bat hits you pretty hard too. All right? So, from here, all it is, if I'm a right-hander, here's where it is. Getting ready to hit home run. Okay? So on this side, the left-handed hitter, Here's where I'm tying up. Here's where I'm tying up. Now, if you're going to use a baseball bat to tie, which is good, you probably won't be able to hold it very long. You don't need it very long. You just need it to be moving or you can pull back and go with it. So what you need to do is remember, anytime, again, if you start using your hand out there and getting control, the near side, you know, always remember I said here, but sometimes once you get a good control, you will end up arms will be leaving the side. Once you're in control, you'll break some of these rules. Because you have to. That's the way it is. But the one you don't break is the inside one. So if you're going to get a baseball bat, go on this side from here. Now, first of all, head position. If I want to get that handle here, I'm going to usually move his head that way like that. So I'm here. If I'm here trying to get it like this, this guy's head there, it's pretty tough for me to go around this side. I might go switch and go around this near side because his head's not going. So when you're wrestling, a lot of times from here, you put his head out of the way and get your head in there. Now, your baseball bat. Now, it's the inside elbow that you want to make sure you cover and turn. That's a 2-on-1. You get a 2-on-1, the biggest thing a guy will do for you a lot of times is grab that elbow. He'll put his head in and grab that elbow right there. Now, of course, anytime, philosophy is, anytime a guy puts his head in and down, I'm going to beat it to the mat. If he's got his head down and it's in there, I'm going to beat it to the mat. So right now, you come out there and get the head real down, start pushing, I'm going to take it down. I'm going to take it down. So right now, if I'm going to 2-on-1 from here, if I got a 2-on-1, he starts bringing his head down from here, I'm going to bring this hand up. Even though he's got my elbow, I'm going to bring it up from there. I can still bring it up from there. I'm going to beat that head down. I'm going to get around the hunt. I'm going to get his leg tag. Kick him over. Okay, so from here, from head there, baseball bat right here. This baseball bat, chances are it's something grab a wrist or an elbow. Now, from here, say it goes to the wrist. Okay, I'm still okay because I can let go of one because I'm not really holding on just with my hands. I'm holding on with my thighs. See that? So I'm coming here and I'm sagging. Again, and knees bent. It's real simple for me to let go of one, break the grip. And I can leg tackle or whatever I want to do. All right, so just what we're doing right now, listen, head, we're in here, get head of the way, and here, or sometimes we go here and here. Baseball bat, or here, cross ankle, cross wrist, and elbow right there. Sometimes, because that's all I need for a good shot. That's all I need for a good shot. Because what happens a lot of times, he'll either put his head in and grab, or he'll pull back. For example, we're in here wrestling, his head's down, he'll pull back with that hand. See him pull back with that hand? Now there's where Gable Sanders can beat you. He does a lot of stuff on the outside. He doesn't do like John Smith, but he does a lot of stuff on the outside. And all he does from here, he doesn't even do this. He may do this, but he just does this. See that? If he can touch you on the knees or legs, pretty much anywhere from here down, if he can put one hand on you, he'll score. That's how easy scoring can be. He's making that hand part of this guy's reactions. And so when that guy moves back on a sprawl or a movement, his body carries with him. His body goes with him. He's not pulling back. He's going with him. So, basically, it's right here. If I'm in here, if I do this right now, there it is. There it is, right there. It's how simple it is. Now you think, well, you're going straight down on your face. Even though I'm going down on my face, when I hit the mat, I'm going to pick the lace up. So it's really the same philosophy that I like talking about. Legs up in the air. Now, if by chance you miss the leg, you think the guy can get a goal behind? Well, normally when you shoot for legs and you don't do very good, a guy can get a goal behind. But because he goes with him, he's knocking him back. Time to scramble up. So, for example, from here, I'm here, and I come here, and he's pulling back with the leg, and I'm coming here, and he pulls back, I miss it, I end up down here, and I'm going to be able to still. Actually, where he usually ends up here, that's not where he'll end up. He'll end up on his ass, but the leg will slide out from here. Here and here, pull. Right there. Still didn't do it. But after you get down, the legs will come away. I'm gonna pull his leg up. Okay, and just kind of hop back up. And you will hop back up and then I'll be able to come right back up. So, okay, so from here, right head here, like that. You twist that ankle right up, just like that. Go right up in the air. Now you got a chance to beat a guy. That's how simple it is. He doesn't even need to grab the wrist. He just comes here, and the guy backs. Right there. And now you pick that leg up. Don't hold it. Because if you drop down, a real flexible guy, not this guy, he's got bad knees, but he'll bounce back up to your knees, back up into me. And then you can like stay in here, and they won't give any points yet. But they'll always give you points though, if I'm getting stopped right here, even for a second. So that's why I come here, come up. Come right here. And again, doesn't have to do just the near side. Okay? Watch this. Say with the hand on my head. I don't like it, I usually clear it. Say he puts it on here, you grab here, and here. I'm going to move him there. I'm going to push him there. And as he comes there, tackle there and there. So, knee and ankle, knee and ankle. Here, right there. Now usually I'll be running all the way across there. That's the one thing you want to remember every time you go that kind of movement. We have a guy on our team named Mike Zach. Great. He doesn't do it like Kale. He does it at the elbow. Brian's do it at the elbow. Mike Zach does it at the elbow. They're great moves because there's no counters. If he does miss it, it's neutral, and it's tremendous on the edge of the mat. Where a guy, here's his safety zone. And so if he does something, he thinks he can get out, he ends up always both knees right at the because he thinks he can get out of bounds, and he won't get out of bounds because of the rules. Take it even from here. Knee and ankle. Or ankle and knee, mostly knee and ankle, knee and knee, whatever. Okay, so now let's go back to where a little bit where we were before. Instead, baseball bat, come in here, head drive, face learn, and follow. Okay, this time he doesn't quite go down on that, so I got to look for something else. Actually, I could do from here, as I come in here like this, again, I could do the same thing, but don't fall on this side, fall on the other side. Penetrate, come up. Or from here, baseball bat, and inside here, trying to drive and don't quite get it. All of a sudden, from here, he puts the whizzer on. Now I got to take him towards his hands again. Okay, then I can come up, and I got to come across in the air. I don't want to stay on the same side. I don't want to come up in here around the waist. I know it works sometimes. I used to do it. It does higher risk, and you're out of position. Bottom line, you learn it pretty well. It's okay, but you stay anytime you're on leg. Don't come up high like that. You can't come up. You're there. You're staying squatted. If you can't get the head drive, take it back towards his hands there. You can't quite get it. You can lift the arm out, pick it up, come across the far side. Another good drill is just learning how to drive the shoulder and taking the weight off. Come down at the ankle, pick it up, and kick. Don't pick it up and hold. Always kick. Always kick. Another good move is a far knee pick off a single leg. From here, coming in like this as you're picking it up to drive. From here, all of a sudden, instead of you want to get the knee to come in here like this. Like you didn't quite turn. This time he's putting the weight down a little bit on the leg. It's coming down, so you take it to the outside, step across. From here, explode up. Take him across here. Don't do it. It's hard to do it when you're not from here. Like that. Taking the guy down. Covering the far side. Similar to the Sanderson one we got on the ankle. From here and across. This one, you just put your shoulder in. See, from here to come here. A lot of people think you lift the leg. No, you come under and you put your shoulder in and you drive up here. It takes the weight off, then you can tip this that leg. It's real easy. You got to do it in motion. Driving down, or again, you got to cover the far side, otherwise you'll end up in a whizzer. All right, there's other ones too. There's a lot of them taken out there. Here's a great drill. You get in here, from here like this, and all of a sudden you're in here, and he stops you. And he actually reaches down and grabs and holds onto your to your wrist, and he breaks your wrist even. You know, of course the leg's gonna come down. Anytime you feel your wrist is gonna break from here, all you gotta do is pinch the leg. See that? Don't come up like this. Stay down here, keep the weight off. Okay, you gotta learn to work there. You gotta learn to work there. Keeping the motion. Now I can free that again. And come inside, I got reach through. All it is this time is from here, reaching through. It's a great one. Another great one, Tom Brand did this, is when you're in here, taking his knee this way and tackling that knee there. That's a great edge of the mat finish. Great edge of the mat finish. When you're in here like this, pull this up, pull in here. Guys trying to put the weight down, pull it here, and drive in. Actually, I would fall on top. That's a great edge of the mat. These are all good single finishes, and I'm sure there's other ones. In fact, you know, a great one is just coming through and picking up. That can actually be from here, and I'm harder trying to do it probably. I do it slow. Guys push my head down, which I shouldn't do. All of a sudden, when you're trying to pull that leg back, I'm just coming right with him, coming right under, and getting the weight over, coming right up in the air, and following. And of course, this is run the pipe drill. You got to learn to hit this one too. Right there. That's your secondary move. The first one, come in, like driving, you put the weight down from here, trying to come here, he's running down. Then I got to squat and cover. Kids will twist themselves and fall down there. Same thing happens here, outside pit, outside shot. Tell them how to put the guy down there. Now if you get caught there like that, tell them how to come back with your head to the inside. Or you can pick it up and drive it up front like that. But there's a lot of things, little teeny drills here that you learn from here, sitting down in here. Actually, you think we'd run the pipe, but you're coming into it. As you're coming into it, you pull it down, coming across with your head right there. You never want your head to hit here. I know John Smith did it pretty well. He was really flexible, and he would be in on shots like right here, set you right here. He was really good right now at picking the knee up, coming across here, coming as far as that. You get a real good guy there that cuts the corner, well, it's pretty difficult. Best thing you can do is anytime you ever, before your head hits the mat, if you're taking a guy down this way, before you hit, pull back, pull your head back, come across the far side. Even if you're, on a low single, where you're, for example, here, and pushing like this. A lot of guys push all the way through, right there. See that? No good, no good. As you're pushing him here, taking him down, once you feel the weight's off, you gotta come back, take the far side and drive it down. If your head ever does hit the mat, come up with it. Bounce off, bounce off, bounce off. Here, here, now you can come up. Because once your head hits the mat, I tell you, unless you're like a piece of rubber, like John Smith, it's not gonna work. And I haven't seen too many guys be able to really do that. In fact, that's the one way we try to counter. The way you try to counter guys is shoot low singles a lot. First of all, you keep the feet moving. Keep the feet moving, so they're never a target. Now they're a target. See that? So keep your feet moving, keep your feet moving. If the guy does make a shot, chances are he's going to miss it. And you're going to have a chance to smash it and go around behind. If he does happen to get it from here, if he happens to get it right there, put your knee in. Put your knee in, try to keep the weight, try to get stalemate. Try to reach down, pull the hand up, try to get his back from here, just like that. Which I'm going to jump to something different here, but say a guy does get on your legs, all right? Say he does, get it on double. Say he's right here, okay? You're going to stop. He's got his head right here. Okay, you're trying to get too much score, there's not much time left. And you're trying to get around behind you. You got to go all the way down, hold one hand, go all the way down. You got to get that hand, both hands off. Now you can go to your low point. You want your kids to score. When guys win on it, there should be a principle here. Free both of your legs. Free both of your legs. Don't try to come around here like this. It's a waste of time. So what you do is you come back, break the grip. See that? Is it time yet? No. Not a time. Still got the hand on the back of my leg. Even though it feels pretty good. No, I was like going back, I'm going to push that down. Now! Now, there is one good move here that Randy Lewis used to work all the time. When a guy had a leg here, block. The guy had this here, he reached down, heel one hand up from here, he still let it stay. But this guy would try to get his wrist away, and he'd pull it back in, and he'd take it through this guy's underneath, and grab the other hand on him. Now, he can come around. Because it's not going through the hand, it's going to the open hand. That's a real good move that if you got to counter guys on a single leg, here, all you simply do is start crawling. Notice I ain't bringing my hand in very far. See that? Hand not coming in very far. I put a lot of weight on it, but I'm looking for that grip. It's sometimes hard to break. Sometimes hard to break. But if you come down and snap the hip, and you break it, and you start pulling it back. So I actually learned how to pull it back, right to the other hand. And the reason why I pull it is because I push it up against his body, and push it down with my shoulder, kind of like a nail driven through there. You think that now you come around real easy. Now when you come around, you got to be careful that you can spin up underneath it. This way, see. You can come there or just come around. The other way. Right there. Just come around. So when you get a guy there, make sure when you come around, hip into him. Hip into it, knock him over. That type of thing. Okay, so back up, kind of review some of the stuff we did. Did baseball, grip here, elbows and grip, elbows in, and not even, you stay out front, it's not good. Hardly ever good to stay square. If you can turn your opponent, turn him. It's much weaker to go through a guy on the side than it is hitting square on. Remember that. Now, if you haven't hit him very square, you can knock him over. But there's no waiting. You know, there's no weight there. Actually, there'll only be weight for a minute or for 2 seconds. 1 second. If I hit him square, there's weight on him. I'm up until the point where there's none. So if I get from here, I'm hitting in here. If I got my hand going, there's still weight on me, there's still weight on me, there's still weight on me, because I'm going. No, there's no weight. See? There's no weight. So anyway, we had a baseball guy with an elbow here, set the outside from here. We could from here, we could set the inside, right, back switch fibers. We could go slow switch a little bit and run over. Back switch guy can go to the side as well. But I wouldn't recommend it. A lot of times, the slower guys shoot straight down to the end of the flat of the mat and they get in trouble. So move the guy where you want him from here. So that's why this baseball bat guy moves. Inside time, moves it. Inside time, moves it. Inside time, moves it. There's those legs in there. See? You hear inside time. Is that leg? Is that leg? 2 on 1 time, 2 on 1 time. From here, moves the guy, moves the guy. And that okay, let's go back and review this. We're in here, and we're stuck. We're stuck right here. Weight towards the hands.
your head and shoulder together. Don't let your head get away from it, keep it tight. If you have to, reach through. If you can, head drive, finish there. Towards his hand. You can't go down here, pick it up. Finish far side. A little far underneath, pick down, far side. Low ankle, lift and kick. So that's, and the drill here, staying right here. No weight on him. Head's in, keeping the weight off, knees are squatted. Thing I don't do, and where you're getting a lot of trouble, is bending over. A lot of kids will squeeze here. Don't bend over. Now you're in trouble. Now you're in trouble. They'll roll you. They'll put your head down. You will not finish. You have to see the weight's on my head. No weight. Good drill. Inside, outside knee. Watch. I'm going to push. I'm going to step. That opens this side up. I can lift with my hip. It comes back down. I push with my inside. It comes up here. Now, you see me lifting like this, but it's supposed to be like this and like this. That's a great drill right here. As he walks, from here, from here, from here, from here. And as you're lifting, you're always hitting circles. So, for example, if I'm lifting here, catching here. If I'm lifting here, catching here. You know, those types of things. But your knees are bent, and your hips underneath you, and there's no weight on you. If the weight goes, as soon as he misses it, you go with me as he pushes it down. For example, if I'm here, I'm trying to get him, but he beats me. Boom, I go right with it right then. Try to come through. Or, right when I'm here, I feel like I'm missing it, guess where I go? Right to there. And do I stay down here? No. So I'm across. Pick up. Like that. Okay. Let's go to defense a little bit before I go to a couple more series there that are very effective. Okay, defense, simply hands, shoulders, head. Not in that order. Head, shoulders, hands. That order. Even though your hands are out. Hey, I'm trying to look at Joe Williams right now. He's really quick. You know, he can set up here with his head way up and get down. Guess what? He can stay right here, his arms are long, he stays right here. And about 95% of the time, the guy shoots, he stops him, and he comes around or he reshots. Did you hear what I said, though? What did I say? 95% of the time. You think he's going to be a world champion? No. There's 100 guys. He's fifth. He's fifth. So I want him to be 100% of the time. So he leads with his head. I'm trying. The guy goes down. He's coming down with him. When the guy shoots, he's stopping him. Now he's trying to go around behind him, or he misses it. He comes up with a leg tackle. He goes to the turn. He gets the points, and he wins. And he stays there on his feet, on his heels. Head up. He's so damn good. He gets away with it. And no matter how many times you call him, it's a lazy win. And I like the guy. If he wants to win it all, he's going to have to learn to do this. Transfer here to here. He's going to have to move his feet. He's going to have to keep his arms down and his head down. When that guy's down. Otherwise, somebody's going to get to him. And you freeze out. You're sitting there like this. Well, guess what happens? Anybody knows what happens? You stay? No, it's gone. You go down, and guess what? Those guys can turn across the seas. They know how to turn. They've been doing it their whole life. So
So you won't think he should go down? His hips are this big. He's got a target. So he better make sure that he's looking. I don't even care if he's shooting. I'd love to have him shoot more. You better get ahead. So you can score, so the guy has to come after him. Because otherwise, the guy stays away from him, doesn't use his grip much. He shoots from the outside, and every time he shoots the guys on his back, they don't call him. Or they'll put the guy down. And guess what? You put him down. You have two choices, put him down or stay up. Guess where he's going to stay? Up. Because he can't turn the guy as well as he should. So, you know, it's important to learn all those very important skills. You got to have a good turn. You know, that's great. If your offense is on your feet, you have your offensive tackles, and even if you've got a great defense, you can't score, you turn that into an offense, and if you can escape or keep somebody from getting a turn, that's all you need. And I'm telling you, if you want to get your program from one level to another as quick as you can, figure the sport out. Now, you also got to figure your team out, too. Figure the sport out, figure what you got for a team. You still have this Chad here, a really big leg man. Not really. He never was leg in his life, but probably not really. But if he was in a match, he's got to work legs. Because that's what he's best at. He can break people, he can get them down, he can turn them with him. But you know what? In practice, Chad, I want you working on your feet, and I want you working on skills. Or I want you working on defense, freestyle. Because you can already do the other thing that's great. Yeah, I tend a lot, but you know what? Still great. If you want to get a program from one level to the other, get them good on their feet, offensively and defensively. And you get them so they can't be ridden. A lot of this in the bottom position is mind, but it's also hand control. And again, now, remember the philosophy? Let me tell you what I say about no weight. What I say about no weight. Anybody remember? Keep the weight off at all times. So you say, well, coach, he starts down. You guys are mountain, put weight up. No. The only way I'm going to escape, for me, not for Joe Williams. When you blow the whistle, Joe Williams, they'll like a shot. Most of the time. But if people know him, they're ready. Say this guy's down, and if I know this guy's fast twitch, and he's going to shoot straight out towards this guy, all I'm going to simply do is he starts shooting out, I'm going to go with him right away. I'm just going to hand block. I'm just going to lock my hands and go with him. He still may beat me so fast. But if I'm on the bottom, I'm not quite as fast. Here, I'm going to get my good position. But when you get ready to wrestle, I'm going back. For a fraction of a second, there was no weight on me. That gave me the opportunity to do my move, my hand control. When I exploded back into him, jolted him for a fraction of a second. And even if we're doing flurries, I come back into him just to get my opening. That's my setup, so I can get some movement. I'm not going to get any movement by going forward when the rule of sport is staying behind the guy's arms and riding, because I'm going to get out. If I go back real quick, come back and I get a hand control, I can have some movement, and possibly have a chance to get out. All right, best defense here. Carried away. All right, so I'm in here. He lowers his level from here, and he gets ready to shoot, and I'm going to go ahead and shoot, and I'm stopping him, and I'm not just pushing him away, I'm looking for my offensive scoring, go behind or my leg tackle, step to the outside, from here, come around him, keeping weight on him, do that type of thing, and I'm scoring. So this drill simply is to have the guy shoot, and I basically, first of all, don't even incorporate the go behind, just incorporate, stop him, and as he shoots from there. Right there, shoot, let him up, okay? Here, as he shoots, as he moves. Give that head stop. Okay? Now, next thing you do, as he does it, you incorporate weight on his neck and head. If he's from the outside, and there as he shoots, put weight on it. He's going to come around behind, from here. And again, there's clearing the arms a little bit. As he hit here, pull him a little bit. Pull him a little bit. In fact, defense, here's a Mark Ironside drill. This guy was tremendous at clearing arms. Tommy Ryan was tremendous at clearing arms. And all it is say you're in a position, you're an underhook. Okay, you got to get under so you can get a good grip on it. Here you've got one, and he's trying to hang on to you. You pull this side, you keep his chest on it, and you pull him this way right here. Pull the arm on. And it's like any other move. You don't pull, snap. Hang on. You don't pull the whole shoulder, you pull the elbow. Look at this counter. You know I got this grip up here, so it's not going to hang out real tight. 2-on-1. Watch this. It's no good. Sanderson will take me down in a second. Watch what I do. Like that. That's what I got cauliflower ears. Shoulders bang into it. But from here, grip for, you don't stand on the face off the blue here. Watch. Just that arm. So if the guy shoots and you stop him, you got your arm caught inside, you're like this, you got to pull him right away. Here and here, pull on his head, and come right around. In fact, you get his feet. I didn't like it because his arm in too deep sometimes. I feel only get the arm in like here on his chest. Pretty good. Okay. He comes here, back all the way down the back, and get it over. Clearing the arms here up. Another good drill. From here, down, instead of having an arm in, just come here and here, have it hit. Now, you guys see I'm on my knees? No. I'm on my knees to show. When I really get ready to go, I'm up, transfer the weight onto him, and I'm on my feet. I don't want to be on my knees. I come up from here, and I'm coming down, I'm coming up all the time. Come around. Front headlock. I've seen 100 kids do this. Drag this guy down by feet on the elbow. I don't think I ever locked my hand on a front headlock in my life. Because if I lock my hand, means the arms are deep, you can grab a hold of. All I'm supposed to do is front headlock, keeping the back of his head on my chest, keep my arm right on here, there, right down to the chin, as far as it goes. And this hand here doesn't go all the way in, right here. Extend, and come back, keep extending. If you fall down, you've probably done it wrong. If you fall down, you better hit and bounce up. These are all part of your defense situation, clearing arm. Okay, so the guy, this time he's shooting on me from here. As he's shooting on me, I'm blocking, pulling him, coming around, keep the weight on, coming in here, dropping down. Probably drop down to the knee, ankle, taking over. If you can turn towards your belly, I'm going to come and tighten my arm. I love an arm trick. I'm going to try to crawl forward, like that. I want to keep it right in there, put him on his back, over and under, put him on his back. He's going to come back in, I got the arm pretty again. It gets really tough to hold, get flat on your belly, try to turn the other way. No, the other way. I'm going to take you back this way, try to go flat on the belly there. Right. Okay, and it comes up like that, boom! Straight up in the air, lift him over, he goes flat on the belly, again the other way. I can pick him up here, from here, push him back, he comes back into here, now he gets flat and he stops. Always remember to hold him. He's strong as can be. My arm's not going to do it. You know what? My arm's not into my fingers. My arm's into my wrist. Like in your wrist. Just like I was holding on there. I'm all the way to here. Not here. My wrist bending, you'll hurt my wrist. I get it all the way through and bend it. Okay, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to turn it. I'm strong. Well, my arms aren't strong enough. I'm going to keep pushing into it. I'm going to bring this, I'm going to block this so I can't get it out. I come in with my heel. I'm going to get that base, get that down. I'm going to keep this leg in there, keep this in tight. So I got the leg in. Guess what? My leg is stronger than my arm. See where I'm holding so I can't crawl forward? I'm pinching here on top of the knee, and I'm holding here. Now, I'm driving. I won't drive you by laying here like this. He's trying to keep me in turn. All I got to do is arch my back and come in. If I grab the chin, watch like this. See that thumb? See that fist? Hold the chin right there. Then I'm going to come in with my knee. I'm going to lift both feet towards the ceiling. Keep him from crawling forward. Pinching here. And now I'm going to start turning. But guess what? When I turn him, his shoulder's like a cradle. It's right up on top of me. Get the shoulder on top of me. So I'm going to get my points. But guess what? I would rather pin him. So guess what I'm going to do? First of all, I wouldn't have done it this way. But I'm going to show you two things. Once I get him, I'm going to bounce him hard and throw my weight up over top of the shoulder. Like that. Usually a catching ball right here, just kind of pinch him right back down in there. All I did, I catch here and here. He's under his chin. I want to bounce out. So his shoulder, his elbow comes through, and I catch him right here. And he'll try to roll through a lot of times, and then I catch him right here. But, you know, to be honest with you, you got a guy fighting hard here, and you hold him, you just pinch him. When you go get him to go over, don't just go over to get your points. Go like this. Or the initial one. Now you can. So that's just a kind of ice on the cake situation. These are available off every leg side. If you go knees and knees, I would say they're going to be available off knees and ankles. Because you can't get a guy who can't move forward. You've got to get above the knee here. This is a great move. You're screaming about high touch lifting. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a lot of lifting right now. But the other thing to remember is the great drill that you should, if you have a leg man, I tell you, if you learn arm turns and leg turns, kids can't stop it. There's so many turns here. I spent a whole 2 hours on arm turns and leg turns. But right now, the main thing to remember is to learn how to go from a leg turn to an arm turn. Keep belly down. Belly down. Keep belly down. Keep belly down. Right now, it's like this. Here's what I do. Move here. Try to create a run. Okay, or you belly down from here. I can't get him. Now remember, I'm too strong. I can put my leg in. I put my legs in. I can't right now. So if you did that, you lock that leg up. If you did that, now I'm going to come back here. Now I'm going to push into and slide my hand. All the way to the other hip. Round the other hip, shoulder in there, and I start turning. Just hold it right here. Now what? Look at this, guys. Okay. And that's going to chill. He's going to stay that way, but he realizes he wants to roll through. And I'm not going to let him. I'm going to stay tight. If he rolls through, we just end up back to our base. All right? But leg turks and arm turks, if you do all these good shots, we're going to be able to do it. Okay, I'll go back to defense a little bit. I'd rather have a defense situation where I'm here and pushing on me and snapping down. Now, let me open up the situation. There are some defensive drills that we work on. These stance drills are really good. We're on here, I'll do. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'm wrestling, all of a sudden, I fake this way, he throws the leg back. Or if the coach tells him to go all the way to the back, same thing from here. Okay, he comes back up. And I've got a reaction right there, reaction right there. Okay? Doesn't matter, both of them. Okay, it's a good drill, it's a good drill. Now he can do it on his own too, just go ahead and do it on your own a little bit. Go ahead and do it on your own. And if kids have trouble, you know, you have to warm them up, it's right in here. Do it from down here and warm up. Start from here and do some of those. Go ahead. Another unbelievable thing that's so simple, but another unbelievable move that is so simple is what's called a hip heist. And all it is basically going to save you on takedowns. And if you ever see a kid hip heist out of a takedown, all you got to do is go over and tell him. That's how you escape. Because basically that's what he did. He was taken down, and all he did is he hit on his butt. He posted, he posted, he posted, he posted, and he came up. And then he did what's called a hip heist. And a hip heist, you better learn it. Because it's turning on a dime. It's not turning my whole body. I ended up here when I started there. If I start here, that's where I end up. If I start here, that's where I end up. It never takes the weight off the guy, and you don't have to move you just. And it's kind of like if you ever seen a side roll. Have you ever seen a side, just a hip roll here? Right there, okay? You get right here in the granny situation or whatever. You ever see a guy getting hit? Yeah, you might be able to get 5 points, but if you want to pin a guy, first off, you can pin a guy there. All you do is do your hip flex. But he's holding up here, he's holding up here. All he's left. Now, if you're flexible enough, you can bring your elbow all the way back into a half down. From here to here. Just like that. And that happens on so many takedowns. If guys are good at hip heist drills, which you should warm up and cool down, actually condition with it, and you can put a lot of things together. In fact, these are great drills, stance drills. Your takedowns are only as good as your stance, to be honest with you. And then you combine your hip heist. So I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to have you, right now, we're going to wrestle, and all of a sudden, you're just going to do some, I call them knockouts. Just he does come in on me, and he gets past my arms, and he gets past my head, and he gets past my shoulder, he's gonna hit my hips. But you know what? I'm gonna hit him so hard, it's gonna knock him out. So I'm gonna win anyway. So that's why I emphasize, if somebody does get through your head, hands, and arms, bust them hard. Bust them hard. So it's called a knockout throw. It's not really a football grab throw, isn't it? I don't know what you're on. But we're not playing football. Football is a game. Wrestling is not a game. I want you to know that. Anyway. It's hard to do football today. So, I just read that today when I come in here, so I wanted to repeat it. Me. I took it out of some context. Anyway, okay, you know, here it is. Hey, here's the partner did this. Doesn't any partner do this? You know, but I don't know if you've heard of it, but let's see if you can knock him off. Boom, come on, bang that, you know, and then get come on, probably do better than that. But anyway, okay. Now, this time, we'll have a little flurry. That's what it's all about. That's a little flurry. Okay, so here we go. This time, when you hit, when you come down and hit like this, I want you to come up and circle all the way in a 360 up. Ready? And I'm going around. Ready? Come on. There you go. This time I'm going to do 360 one way or 180, whatever, 270, and I'm going to go the other way. Okay? Here we go. Hit! Stay down there. Stay down there. Stay on your hands. Okay, and this time, as you hit it, I want you to do hip height and then hip height twice. So you're in a flurry. Ready? After you hit. Ready? Hit! Boom! Come on, hit! Punch! Hit! Circle. One more time. Hit! Boom! There you go. Okay, let's do about 3 or 4 in a row right here. Hit! Boom! Hip height! Twice! Hip height twice! Boom! Right up! Good! Ready? Here we go! Ready? Oh, 2 minutes, 3, 4. Come on, no. You can go 6, 7, 8 times before a guy takes you down. I'm just going to have 1 each time. Oh. Ready? Hit it. Oh. Search. Ready? Hit it. Not as smooth as they should be, but he's getting older a little bit. Ready? Hit it. Go. All right. Those kind of things, again in practice, when guys are just, they're just dead. You know, they just can't move. All you do, you don't wrestle against each other, because you know why? That's where they get hurt, or sloppy, that's where because you want them to still go when they know that they can't go. So you put it by yourself, and you make them do those kind of drills. And the thing is, I'll say, okay, we're going to do 8 knockouts with 2 hip heights, or we're going to do 8 knockouts. Or sometimes I'll say we'll do 8 knockouts, but in between each knockout, do 1 hip height. Or I'll say they do 6 knockouts, in between each knockout, do 2 hip heights, and back up, circle up. Okay? I say 6. You think I stopped at 6? I don't think I've ever stopped. Not in the right numbers. So it's, when I hit 6, I think you're done. It's 7, 8, 9, 10. Not all the time, but sometimes it's only a couple more. Sometimes it's 30 more. But whatever it is. Sometimes 3 minutes is 12 minutes. Never 3 minutes within 3 minutes. I want you to know that. But that's just part of it. And that's, you learn to handle that. You may yell and scream, and you know your push is good. Okay. Give you another 30 minutes. 8 minutes. What time? 8. Don't get up. Let me get it. All right, let's just incorporate a little bit of a couple of scenarios. Here's the move Tom Rand and myself really like a lot. Basically all it is, inside tie from here. You can have your head here, you could have your head over here. You got a wrist a lot of times. You got an inside tie, whatever you got, you don't have to have control. You can hear arm far leg from here. All you simply do from here is, from here, all you do right now to make it work is you circle that foot into you. Circle that foot into you right there. And sometimes you have to come up. Circle that foot under. A lot of times you just come here like that. And as you come here, you come up with this arm and you push. So you're pulling and you're pushing like that. So what happens, he pulls back with this and he pushes with the shoulder. And as he pushes with the shoulder, that's when I come right around. Right, come right around here, pull that shoulder all the way down to the mat, he comes right to the mat. And you're on far left. That move, if you teach your kids that, what happens, a lot of times kids react straight, and they'll just end up falling on their face. Or you end up in a duck under, or if you get it tight, if you pull that arm tight, you end up getting back fronts and follow through. But it's a move that you have to, it's an outside arm, very tight, and you're in here, moving. Here, all of a sudden, you come right there. I did it in the finals of the World Championships, actually. That one in a carry. So they work at all levels. They work at all levels. But the thing about that move is it sets up a lot of things. Here's the series I like to do often. You got your inside tie, you got your post over here, you got your wrist from here, and you're moving in from here like that. You push, and this time from here, as you push from here, you know, he may just like push back, pull back, pull back. That push, you just pull back, pull back. Just run right over top of him. Run right over top of him. Move the knee like a lot. You guys just kind of pull back. All you do is drop your hand from here, or do from here like this. And all you did was from here, you did run the guy over. But that's another thing. Another good series from here is just a fake from here. If I come from here, he can relax and still come up there, okay, snap him down, go behind. Great snap down from there. In fact, if you have about 3 seconds to go in match and you're behind, that's a great move. All you have to do is come across right here and fake, and he reacts and snaps and you go behind. He'll overreact a lot of times. Of course, you can shoot your double and stuff, but a lot of times, I can see this move work a lot of double things. Now, so you have your near arm parlay, you're coming here, and you're spinning right to the mat. Or from here, you're faking here and he's reacting, you're coming out, snapping to the mat, go around, go behind. Or from here, you can do what's called a sweep double. It's a very good double. From here you're coming here, from here you're pushing, and so you push, you come here like this. From here is a reaction here, you come right to the far side, right with your head, shoulder right there, head hitting, Jimmy Heffman. That was very, very good there. It's called a sweep double. Roy Dowser, as big as he was and awkward as he was, he had some good moves. This was one of them. The thing he didn't do a lot of times, he really had a good fake. So the guy reacted a lot of times from here, and as the guy reacted, a lot of times he'd fall right down. But he wouldn't go that far. The guy didn't fall down, he ended up from here to right here. Then he'd be in trouble, the guy sprawl, and he'd losing. That's why you got to get out underneath your weight. So if you're going to do this fake from here, come across, right there. Take a mic down. Just like that. Okay, so that's 3 moves off that, 4 moves actually. That's the one that, I really like the one where you come here, from here, step right here, right around. You can down, really pulling that arm tight, keeping that head and chest. Second one, really got to get the fake here. There you fake, he leans on it, snaps it down, go around behind. This time from here, as you come here, right up underneath him. Get your feet all the way. Take a big step. You take a big step. If you don't take a big step, you end up down in front of the squash. So even a heavyweight can do this. Even a heavyweight. Because you're getting out from underneath the weight. And you know, actually, the things that I was teaching were great for heavyweights. Because, what did I say?
Weight's on there.
There's no weight. This is what happens sometimes, it's hard to push that weight. If you're a smaller guy. You know, it's like a simple thing here, where you stand here, and I come up and you weigh 100 more pounds than me. I have to go like this. And then I take my hand down. Here's another little principle. Come down, down. You got guys that like headlocks and hip locks and hip tosses. And just talking about high hips, okay? Stand like this. Right? Stand up and stand right there, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna act like I'm blind, okay? I'll walk. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna hit him, no big deal. You get down on your knees, okay? Now I'm gonna be blind, okay? And I'm hitting. I'm gonna fall. Just because I'm lower. You know, these are funny little things, but I can remember these principles when I first learned wrestling. That have stuck with me my entire life. Because when you hit headlocks, when you hit moves that, you know, even anything that you gotta depend on hip tosses and stuff, you can't get here and toss. You gotta come all the way
through to where you're so low, he just falls over the table. Falls over the table. So, those are, real important principles that they're simple, but they're vague. All right, so the whole night has been basically just a lot of principles, a lot of philosophy, a lot of techniques, actually. A lot of little things that kids have to know if they want to go into the championship round. Have to do and execute. Not all these things, but just some of the most sound ones. You don't need every experience tonight to have been here on like this. All you need is, a guy can learn one. A guy can learn this? Who knows? Or probably a guy can learn this one. That's the simple one to learn. But you know what? It don't work unless you actually go down to that ankle with your head and hand. No way to get out. Right now, every kid will try to reach down and pull that leg out. It just doesn't work. As soon as I start reaching down, I lose it and he kicks it out. But instead, when I'm in here, come all the way down to it. And now I swing my hips up and kick. Finish from the hips, not from the arms. I didn't bend. Reach. That's a little simple thing that makes all these moves work. A little simple thing was taking the guy towards his hands. There. If I don't get him that way towards his hands, take him that way towards his hands. And then if I hold it, he's going to come right back up. Okay? So if I only got him part of the way, from here now I'm going to come back. I'm going to keep doing something more. As we do it, if I take him, I'm going to run him. Got to follow through. I don't hold anything. If I do hold it, I move it. I move from good positions. We talked about pummeling. Talked about changing levels. Talked about pulling the guy the way off of you. Talked about inside steps, exploding. Talked about outside steps, cutting corner knee. We talked about baseball bats, elbows. Talked about coming here, going off the reaction, coming to the far knee, picking the legs up, don't hold on to them. Talked about go behind, but extending them a little bit. Talked about keeping the weight on them, and still turning and losing. There's that leg, there's that finish. I think I forgot to say one really essential thing with tactics. You get an arm here. You don't reach to the far leg. You don't reach to that far leg at the end of it every time. But the weight on this. What you do, you sit here. You just hand up here, drop down. And you push with your head. And the hand down and comes across. The hand goes from here to here. It doesn't go from there to there. It doesn't go from here to here. Now let's go hold this leg and let's put it off now. Right there. Instead, when I come here, it comes down, right back to my lap. Because remember I told you I wanted here? Comes right back down there. Right there. Now I can push and drive. I can end up my arm turn, my leg turn, whatever. I told you about sticking that heel in tight. As you take him over, you're awesome, hit him through. If you can't hit him that way, from here then you hook that arm. Hook that arm. I hook that arm, you can raise it that way, or from here you come off the legs. The big shoulders. Like this. Now you can block around chest and chest. However, if you end up with the guy in the back, and you're winning by 1 point, and you can hold it there for 30 seconds, and you don't have a chance of rocking, because he can roll through, be smart. You have to tell him all that 1%. 99% most stuff, 1% the other. You always have to know that. It's real crucial. Okay, I think that's about it. Is that about it? Huh? All right. No, I came here planning on doing only arm bars. I'm serious. That's what I was going to do because I figured the only thing I could do was just be on top, an arm bar. I think I showed you one day show. Anyway, I feel better. It's that adrenaline. Get around wrestling, people. I'm healed.
It's gonna be electronic.
Ready?
Electronic.
Can you hear it?
Download it. Yeah, you can do it.
Hey, this is my man right here.
You get it? Oh, look, hell, man. Sure.
Straight. Okay? He can rebound right there. But here's what happens. You hit a guy straight, double it. You hit him straight right here. He drive across at an angle. That's the difference. As simple as that. Try to explain to you guys why he drives across at an angle. That's why. Because it makes it harder for him to stay on his feet. You hit him straight, whack, hit him. Now what? Drive across. I'm swishing to prepare to drive across the angle. Because right now, I'm set to drive straight. But once I swish my foot, toe on the mat, see how my shoulders turn. My feet and everything pretty much, my knees stay in the mat, my foot stays in the mat here. I just swish my foot and turn my shoulders a little bit to prepare myself to drive across this angle. Push off, my trail leg foot, step across. Right there. That's a deep pound penetration step. Any questions on that so far? Typically high school wrestling. Guys come out and they want to wrestle. They want to get it on. That's what happens. Dave and I are in a match right here. We go to wrestle. We shake hands. We come out. If I came out right here to wrestle Dave and I reached up for him right here, I saw his hands. He wanted to reach up for me a little bit. I shake his hand. We go to wrestle. I go to reach up for him right here. Most of the time, even if it's just that much, a guy will go to reach up for you. It's just a natural reaction of a wrestler. You go to reach up for him. Many instances, he wants to reach up for you. Now you start getting on the upper levels, the senior levels, Olympic levels, guys don't reach as much, but in high school, they reach a lot. So that's what we're going to take advantage of that to get a takedown. So the setup that I use is I just have my hands loose right here, and I reach up for him. When I reach up, I'm not reaching up like this. Okay? I'm not doing that. My hands are real loose. If David were actually hit my hand, he probably can move it out of the way. My hands are real loose, loosey-goosey, right here. And then, switch my lead leg. As I go to reach, real loose hands, I reach up for David, elbows in, I go to reach for him, and as his hands come up to reach for me, okay, I go to reach for him, he comes up to reach for me, even if it's just that much. Watch what happens. As I reach, as his hands come up, I'm beginning to lower my level. See this open area here that I can attack from now? Now, I'm past his arms and I can just explode right to his legs. So I'm right here wrestling, maybe I'm bombing, I'm popping, I'm lower my level, come up. I get my hands up. Right as his hands start coming up, I'm lowering my level. Right here. I'll go up through him on the double leg. So that's the setup we use. I reach, soft hands. As I go to reach, he reaches. As he goes to reach, he's reaching, I'm lowering my level, I'm shooting up into him. Okay? The first phase that I'm going to show you this double again is just the initial pop, the initial explosion. Because a lot of guys don't necessarily think that's important on the double leg or initial shot. It's good to really pop your opponent when you first shoot. So the first phase is going to be an initial explosion. I reach, he reaches, I'm on my level. Notice, I'm on my level, I'm going to knee pound, just like you saw me do the last 5 minutes explaining this, and I'm going to explode right into his hips. Lower my level, shoot up into it. Okay? That's the initial pop that we want to make when we shoot that double leg. Or whether it's a single leg or high crotch. We're going to make the initial pop. Now I realize some guys on your team, they're going to be able to do that a little faster than others. But still, it's important to stress you want to get from that point A to point B as fast as you can. The first phase of the double leg, I'm going to show you guys is the initial pop. I reach, he reaches, pow. Okay. Where we want to be. Now, once we're here, my head's up, my back's straight, my hips are in. Very important. Because if I'm here, it makes it much easier for Dave to defend this. He gets his hips into me, starts pushing my head down. Now we're in this game. I don't want to be there. I'm shooting up into the guy. My head's up the whole entire time. Notice where my head, my back, my hips are the whole entire time. I reach, he reaches, they're up the whole time. I never look down. A lot of guys on your team are going to want to do this. Never do. Then they want to start reaching their head. Well, that gives them a chance to start pushing that down, lock down. You gotta have your head up the whole time. Back straight the whole time. Head up, back straight, hips in. Right there. Pop. This is the first phase. Now I want you to realize
where my hands are. These are simple things I think that make a big difference though. My hands are behind his kneecaps. Okay? Behind his kneecaps. They're not on his hips. These guys. They're not on his hips. As we've heard before, this is the strongest part of his body. It's what we call his trunk. We don't want to mess around with his trunk. This is where he's real strong. His butt, his hips, lower back. We don't want him to jack around with it. We want to be here. Because this is he's weak behind the kneecap. Weak right here. We play this game straight up. You sit straight up. People come behind the lockers in high school, do that type of stuff. That's because you can buckle somebody from there. So let's take advantage of that. Attack right behind the kneecaps. When I'm attacking, right there, I want to buckle him. Makes it harder for him to defend. If I'm buckling his legs, come head up, back straight, and hips in. He doesn't feel good from right there. So this is the first phase you want to be. Initial pop, hands behind the kneecaps. Phase 1. Irony, PVs. Below my level. Initial explosion, hand behind the kneecap. That's phase 1. Phase 2 of the double leg. And I'll show you. Next thing I do is I bring my trail leg up, I'm knee pounded. Notice where my knee's at. I knee pounded, I'm penetrated with the knee right between his legs. Hands up, back straight, hips are in, hands behind his kneecap. I'm in a good position still. Perfect position. Now, phase 2, I bring my trail leg up, squat top position. I'll bring it up right here. You can drive over me. Okay. I don't have very good balance from there. If I bring it up too far too, I don't have any strength to push off from there. Bring my trail leg up to squat top position. Alright? The next thing I do is I switch my foot. Y'all heard me say that a few times already. Bring my trail leg up and switch my foot. Okay? Swisher. Swisher. Right there. Toe on the mat. Swisher. Now, when I say toe on the mat, I want you to get coaches to realize that a lot of you guys are going to want to do this. I'm trying to teach them swisher. They keep their foot in the mat. Yeah, see this? They did this. And then they try to drive across. Okay? But notice, you can't push off your foot. You can't push off your foot if you don't have the rubber of your soles in the mat. A lot of guys do that. They're like this. Okay? But they gave us this. Trail leg comes up. Swish our foot. Swisher, toe on the mat. Right there. Now, the little third part of the second phase, first part, trail leg up, squat position, swisher. The third part is what I like to call flex. My hands are around the kneecaps, and what I do right here is I just flex. Just like that. Circle. Trail leg up, push my foot, flex. Right here. Trail leg up, switch my foot, flex. What the flex does, guys, is if I'm not in a really good position, it pulls me there. If I have reach lower my level, pop up into him. Trail leg comes up, swisher my foot, flex. Third phase, pushing off our trail leg to squat position. Step, drive across, and run through him. Run, 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 run. You don't see that? That's a double leg, I think, done. I want you to notice on my head that shoulder. Okay. I look across his back. See this? My head, I turn. I'm drawing across 90 Gable. I look right here across his back. And I actually start looking towards the mat and where I want to take it. So I'm looking where I want to take it. And right where I was looking, where we went. Now, watch when I start lowering my level. See that? Right when his hands are coming up, I start going down. It's a timing thing. Right here. Pop. Hands behind the kneecaps. Head up. Back straight. Hips in. Trail leg comes up. Switching my foot. Toe on the mat. Flex. Push off my trail leg. Step up my lead leg. Looking across his back. Then across his back. Same. Okay. I go to take the step. Because my feet are already staggered. See my feet are already staggered. So if I go to take another step, right there, it just creates too wide of a gap for me. I don't have as good balance from right here as I would from right here. As I lower the level from here, as long as all my weight's going forward, when I knee pound instead of stepping, instead of knee pounding, as long as my weight's forward, I still have good balance from here. But when I take a step, right here, if I take a step, right here, I don't have very good balance from there. That's why I don't take that step. And plus, I have to be farther away from them if I'm gonna take a step. I like to be close to guys. If I'm shooting on them, tell me your name. Because I have short arms, short legs, I don't want to attack from out here. There's a chance of me getting a takedown pretty low. I want to attack from out here. That's why I don't take that step. Because I can get from point A to point B faster, and my balance is better when I keep my feet a little bit closer together. Okay? He says, how do you like to close that gap? Okay, let's close that gap and get closer to it so you can actually shoot on it. It's a good question. Here's how I do it. When I'm in a stance, I normally, when I'm wrestling, I'm always leading my right leg right here. And I always have one arm up and one arm down. I may switch them up depending on who I'm wrestling. If I'm wrestling somebody that shoots a high crotch all the time, I'll keep my left arm down, my cross leg arm down. So if he goes to shoot a high crotch on me, I can always block. I'll keep my left arm down. If I'm wrestling a guy that shoots single legs and double legs, I'll keep my right arm down. Because if he goes to shoot a double leg over here, I can down block him this way. So when I'm wrestling, I'm always either I'm here, reaching with my opposite hand, my thumb down, or I'm here. I'm wrestling always here or here. Always. Now I always have one hand up to control him and feel what he's doing. If he goes to attack me from right here, I can feel him, I can feel what he's doing. I always have one arm down to defend. Here, right here. So once you realize that, I have to close that gap. And when I do little baby steps, if I want to get closer to him, I don't run at him. Good wrestler, right? When I go take this big step right here, he's going to lower his level on me, pow, blow through me, okay? So I don't run at him and take big steps. Take little baby steps. It's called stalking your opponent. And it's right here. If he keeps eluding me and he's not coming close to me, he keeps kind of backing up, I'm just right here. Keep backing up, please. Okay? Now if he keeps backing up all around the mat, we can call it for stalling. But I think you stick to your game plan and keep stalking. There's a lot of guys that have to rope the dope, right? They want to get you, they're kind of backing up. They get you to start coming at him, and then whack, it's you a low-level single or double leg or something. If he's got his arms and his elbows in his lap, he's in a good stance, he's going to lead your right leg. Put your arm. He's not reaching for me, but he's got his elbows in his lap. This is a good set. What I end up doing is I go to the snap elbow. So I'm right here. He wouldn't reach, not moving for me. I'm snapping his head, I'm snapping. He's not reaching. So what I would do is I would reach up, trail leg hand first, thumb down, inside with my lead leg arm. The reason I reach with my thumb down is because I can feel him. If he ever goes to attack me from right here, I can still feel him. I reach up with my elbow in. This is making an initial contact, y'all can learn from. I reach with my elbow in, not out. If I reach with my elbow out right here, you can attack a high crotch on me, okay? So I reach with my elbow inside. That way if he goes to shoot right here, I can block him. So I reach with my trail leg hand first. He's not reaching for me, Thumb in, here, and here's what I would do. He's got his elbows in his lap, he's not reaching for me. So I circle to the outside, circle, snap his head down, pass his elbow. He would probably start coming up a little bit right here. So I snap his head down, pass his elbow. Now I got a great angle. I can either choose to go to high crotch, right here, drop across. If I set it well enough, I could go right to a double leg. I can just go to a single leg. So he's not reaching for me. He's not reaching for me. I'm snapping. He's not moving. Not moving. Here. So it's actually hurts him to have his elbows in flat on that one. Because it's hard for him to regain his balance. So here. Not reaching for me. Trail leg, arm first, lead leg arm, circle to the outside, circle, snap down, push the elbow across. Now from here, my feet are set, ready to attack. I can attack right here to the single leg. I can attack high crotch, drop across double. I can attack double. That's what I do when guys don't reach. They're doing the reach. Come here, I'm snapping down. Well, most of the time I circle a little bit. Here, he comes back up, and I can attack. I use that one a lot. I do a lot of things. I do underhook, reaching, not reach. So then I'm here. You reach that time. wasn't reaching before. He wasn't reaching before. But when I snapped elbow past him, and he's like, what the heck? And all of a sudden, he comes back out, and I reach for him and he's like, I gotta get my hands on him. So you kind of put two things together. It's called wrestling 2 or 3 deep with techniques or setups. And you start putting things like that together, it makes you real dangerous as a wrestler. If I'm wrestling here, I'm wrestling from the outside, you're not reaching, snapping his head, I'm moving, I'm trying to get him out of position. Okay, you're not gonna reach. See? You just reach that. It's real hard to think. As the guys doing that to you, it's hard to remember to keep your elbow up. It's hard to remember what you're doing. Because I got him on the go in the U.S. Open, in the Olympic level. It's real hard just to take guys down with one set. It's real hard because they're awesome. You know, they've been wrestling their whole lives. They don't fall for little bitty things a lot of times. You have to get them 1, 2, 3 deep sometimes. And that's what I mean. You can also take that example 1, 2, or 3 deep. Here's a good example of that. Say, for example, I go to shoot this high crotch right here. I reach for him right here. He reaches for me. I go to lower my level. I go to attack this high crotch. Circle your leg out. Okay? He circles his leg out. He sees what's coming. So the number 1 technique that I was going to use didn't work. He really circled that leg out. So does that mean I just go, oh, didn't get the high crotch. Didn't get it. No. I'm going to the number 2 shot I have from there. Because I didn't get the high crotch. I reach from him maybe. I go to shoot this right here. Now, I don't get the high crotch, but look, at my feet, I just continue. It's just the same knee pound penetration step, right? Same thing we've been doing. Trail leg comes up right here. If I'm right here, this doesn't mean I have to stop. Look what's right in front of me. Single leg. Push off my trail leg, come right up to my feet. So that would be going 2 deep right there. Understand? 1, we high crotch, I missed that. 2, single leg. To go 3 deep right there would mean this. I've seen this a few times. It's pretty awesome when you see a guy do this, because you know he's really on the ball. I reach, he reaches, I go shoot this high crotch, I miss that. I pound my knee in the mat, I go shoot the single leg, he circles that out. He lowers his level again, high crotch. That's 3 deep. And you get to the point in wrestling where that's awesome when you start seeing stuff like that. Because that means a guy's he's really preparing. If you notice on my feet, guys, I didn't have to change that much. All my footwork stayed the same. It's not like I had to recop myself for a single leg, recop myself for a double leg, or a high. I reach, he reaches, go on my level, I go to attack his high crotch, knee pound, I miss it. But I still stay into it, head up, back straight, hips in, staying off my knees and staying into it. Trail leg comes up, I'm gonna stay off my knees, go to attack the single leg right here, I get it, awesome. If I don't, on my left high crotch, knee pound, I miss it. Trail leg comes up, I go to attack the single leg right here, I miss it. Look where I'm at again. Go on my level again. My footwork, I didn't have to do anything crazy to my feet. It all stayed the same. Got me going that old when I was 25. 19 years. All right, it takes time. Failed many times along the way, but I stayed committed. Let's shoot side work. Now, maybe A1 test, let's shoot side step. You're not going to become an Olympic champion unless you decide to put that hard work. You're not going to be a good friend to somebody unless you decide to be quiet sometimes. Let them talk. Work with that relationship. It takes hard work in whatever we do to become successful. So hard work is number 2. Time commitment is number 1. The third ingredient to become a successful person is believing in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You can't doubt yourself. When you walk out on the wrestling mat, for real, the wrestling mat, in high school or college, with the wrestling mat in life, you have to believe it. We're his name is Satia. Who lost Satia? He hadn't lost in 6 years. He was the defending Olympic champion. He was the guy picked to win my weight class. He was like hands down. Okay. My name wasn't even in the program for This guy named Satia, I had to wrestle him. Second round, the guy from Bulgaria, and Satia, the Russian, he was the other guy in my pool. If I won, I had a chance to go on and maybe become Olympic champion. If I lost, I'm out of the Olympics. So it's kind of like hero, zero. You know, cheat, geek. You know, it's a choice you have to make. So I went out there to wrestle him. Before I went out there to wrestle him, we were in the staging area. And he was about probably 10 yards away from me. And this was before he walked on the mat, and he was standing right beside me. And Kevin Jackson, who's my coach for the last 2 years, he's the main reason I was able to succeed in wrestling. He came up and he gets in the jacket, a little pump, he walks up and he says, Brandon, he goes, are you going to win? And he starts saying this real loud. I'm thinking, and my first thing in my head, I was like, heck, I'm thinking in my head, Kevin, the guy right there. He didn't care, you know, he didn't care. Because he's all about, I don't give a crap, who's going to win. He didn't care. And he walks up and goes, are you going to win? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to win. And he goes, is there anything you can do to stop you? I said, nothing. Are you stronger? I said, I'm stronger. Are you faster? I said, I'm faster. He goes, is there anything he is going to do to stop you? I said, nothing. And he was standing right there. And all of a sudden, you may start thinking, man, you know, Brand, that's kind of cocky, kind of arrogant. But then I finally came to the realization when Kevin started asking me that, I realized, you know, he doesn't speak English anyway, so you know. That kind of got me, I was a little nervous, but as that started to happen, it was weird. It kind of brought me into good spirits, and I was really positive when I went out there.
Yeah.
So the point being is we have to believe in ourselves. You can't doubt yourself. We fall into situations in our life when we doubt ourselves, but we know what it's like to doubt yourself. When we've all been in situations in our life where we really believe something's going to happen, we really believe it, and it happens. And we know how important it is. So time and commitment, number one, hard work, number two, believe in yourself, number three. The fourth ingredient to the recipe of success is extremely important for high school year. It's making good decisions every single day, year round. We know how important making good decisions. You can't make good decisions Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, do whatever you want. They have to be made every day, year round. I tell these guys, sometimes they say, Brandon, what do you mean making good decisions? I said, you know what making good decisions are? Making good decisions are obeying your teachers, being coached, being respectful to your elders, obeying your parents. Whether you agree with everything they're saying or not, they're there to take care of you and raise you, obey your parents. That's making good decisions. Treating other students the way you want to be treated, that's making a good decision. If you want people to respect you, be kind to you, and do things for you, then that means that you have to do that for others. That's making a good decision. Treating your neighbor as yourself. And then I tell them I love for our sport of wrestling, and it's using the strengths and the gifts that God's blessed you with to the best of your ability. The cool thing about wrestling is that we're all different shapes, we're all different sizes, we're all built, you know, in different ways. I wrestle a guy named Mark Branch, my junior year in college, who beat me in the NCAA final. He's 6'4", and I'm 5'8". We're about two of the most different shaped guys I think that's ever stepped on the mat with each other. But the point is that some guys have long arms, some guys have long legs, some guys have short arms, some guys have short legs, some guys are real flexible, some guys aren't. Some guys can shoot low singles, some guys can shoot double legs, some guys are getting great shape. The key thing is you figure out what your strengths are and what your gifts are, and you work hard to make those strengths. You work hard to make those gifts even stronger.
Morning. Pleasure to be here this morning. Last night I went to dinner over by the Disney Lake and drove by where I essentially say my Olympic wrestling career just started, right in the Anaheim Pacific. It's great to be back here. Bill has asked me to talk about, we're passing around some notes about what I'm going to present this morning and probably continue on this afternoon about coaching heavyweights. And, I'll go in and follow the mark here, what we do. At the heavyweights, you just don't limit what the guys do and say, oh, they're just big and heavy and not really teaching the skills and teaching how to wrestle. When people ask me, why do you think you were able to be as successful and go on and win? I think first of all, it's just my love of the sport. I love to train, I love to wrestle, and I use past tense because I don't go into that now. But I love to train, I love to wrestle, and I really learned how to wrestle in my techniques that I've learned from mostly lighter coaches. My high school wrestling coach, I think, was a 122-pounder in New Jersey. I think it was 115. My college coach was a 115-pounder. And obviously I polished and worked on skills, heavyweight skills, a little bit from upper weight coaches, obviously over the years. I want to emphasize that we need to teach our heavyweights good techniques. I do run a camp in the summer that, we try to mail out and advertise quite a bit, but you get a lot of heavyweights to come in and train together. The one thing I've always noticed about heavyweights, and I think what holds the heavyweights back from being as successful as they can be, is if you go to the average camp or you go to the average high school team, there's usually only one, maybe two heavyweights. They don't have an opportunity to compete against good people and train. And one of the things my high school coach did for me, it really helped me maybe more and develop better, and then my college coach continued to do that with getting me good workout partners, is I actually did a lot of my high school training at practice at different high schools. We would rotate around. I would go to drive to the practice like 20 minutes away for somebody out of our district and work out with them on Tuesday. The guy may come up to my practice on Wednesday, and then the next Tuesday or Wednesday I'd go maybe somewhere else. I think that really helped me, and if you have the opportunity, if you're in one of those situations where you only have one heavyweight, maybe a good heavyweight, and then you have that young ninth grader that's just not ready yet, it really will pay if you can get that person an opportunity to work out with some in the good, yada, 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 and that's what helped me. If you can get your athletes workout partners, I really think at the heavyweight, it will just take them the next step so quick. My training for the Olympics, I would fly people in like Rulon Gardner, Kurt Angle, DeShears flew in with me, Tom Erickson used to work out in Edinburgh with me, and I would either talk their club into flying people to my place or fly them myself to work out with me in Edinburgh. I think the workout partner situation is just something we can't really teach. And I think that's so important that if you're looking at getting a good closer for yourself and a good heavyweight, I think it's real significant that you can get the workout partners. I know at college, my college coach went out all the time to try to get people to come in for a week or two to work out with me. Now, I do understand in today's climate, this is back in the 70s when I was in high school, you've got all kinds of liability issues, and if you send a guy in your own car to the town next to you. I actually worked out at one of the junior colleges in the area. I didn't know it was illegal till I became a coach, but it was against the rules for that college guy to let me work out with him, but now you gotta watch out all the liability. But that is one area that you really can't coach as far as a heavyweight. I think that really holds people back. And if you go to camps, and that's why I started the heavyweight camp. We do each year probably get 10 or 12 California athletes come out. And we've had numerous junior national champions, high school national champions. I think about every year we average 10 to 12 state champions come out of there, so it's about 250. And it says it really got so